Proszę przewodniczącą Komisji Europejskiej Ursulę von der Leyen.
Dear Donald, thank you first of all for bringing us here to your hometown Gdańsk. And indeed this Solidarity Center is truly inspiring. The brave men and women of Solidarność that led the peaceful transition to democracy, they stood against oppression imposed from Moscow so that their children could grow up in a free country. And it was them who anchored Poland in the democratic values of freedom, the rule of law, the human rights, which are the very foundation of the European Union. And look at Poland now, about to start its second presidency in the European Union. This is a truly Gdańsk legacy that we see here. And this is where Poland reclaimed its rightful place in Europe. Dear Donald, you have made security the central theme of your presidency, and rightly so. Since Russia brought war back to the European continent, security lies at the heart of everything we do. The threats we face are more complex and more diverse. The recent incidents in the Baltic Sea show that every piece of infrastructure is a potential target. Hence, the need to embed the security dimension into every European policy and action. So let me begin with defence. This new political cycle marks the start of a new era in European defence. Over the 3 years of Putin's war, we have ramped up our military production, but it's not enough. We have to do more. More than ever, we have to spend more, we have to spend better, and we have to spend together. Because Europe needs a surge in defence. Modern warfare requires scale, technology, coordination, too big for any one of our member states. But this is where joining forces, European cooperation, delivers. We will need funding, both public and private funding. We will need more cooperation for better interoperability and lower costs, simpler legislation, for instance, on public procurement, and more innovation. And finally, if we spend billions of taxpayers' money on defence, we need a return on investment in the form of more know-how and better jobs here in Europe. We are preparing as a Commission a white paper on the future of European defence, and we will present it by mid-March. My second point is on preparedness. Preparedness must guide us in all our actions to proactively address the full spectrum of threats. If we build on the Niinistö report, we will soon propose a preparedness union strategy, because preparedness must be reflected in every policy. And it also means tackling hybrid threats. I know that Poland is under great pressure from the hybrid attacks of the regime, Belarus and Russia. They cynically exploit human despair. They lure migrants to the border with the cooperation of smugglers and traffickers and criminal networks. And this is not just a bilateral issue for Poland alone to deal with it. This is a European challenge, so it needs a European solution. Because it is us, the Europeans, to decide who comes to Europe and under what circumstances, and not Lukashenko or Putin with the help of smugglers and traffickers. Indeed, we have to increase the common funding for defence and the hybrid threats. And we have discussed in our orientation day with the European Council the possibility to give more space for national budgets to increase defence expenditure, but also to fight hybrid threats. The second thought that we might need together common European funding, but also the fact that we will need more funding from the banking sector, the European Investment Bank, but also the private banking sector. And indeed, as you said, Donald, in December we provided extra funding for the border security in Poland. And during the presidency, we will present a proposal to increase the support that is possible, but also a topic where we have to look at migrants, irregular migrants being here in the European Union, that have no right to stay here, so a negative decision on their asylum application. They have to return home to their home country. And here we will present a proposal to speed up these returns in the European Union. My third point is on competitiveness. Security and competitiveness go hand in hand. A strong economy makes us more resilient to global shocks, less vulnerable to coercion or dependence. And as you all know, last week we launched the Competitiveness Compass, our strategic guide for the coming months and years. The first priority of the compass is that we have to close the innovation gap. We have very smart people with breakthrough ideas, but they have to get more access to the single market to scale up and more access to capital. Specifically, if it comes to artificial intelligence, we have to make sure that smart companies can really work with the European single market, our best and biggest asset. The second priority is a joint roadmap for competitiveness and decarbonisation, and at its heart is the clean industrial deal that we will present at the end of this month. It is about supporting energy-intensive industries, and it is also about supporting our smart startups that they can be more successful with their breakthrough innovation products that they are bringing to the market. But of course, it is also about reducing energy costs. This must be the prime topic. We're working hard to increase low-carbon energy, that is renewables and nuclear energy, because it is homegrown. I'm convinced we will have a need for a long time a base load either with nuclear or either with gas, and we will need on top the renewable energy, because we know that the renewable energy is creating good jobs here at home in Europe. It gives us energy security, that is important. It lowers the prices, and most importantly, it makes us independent, especially from Russian fossil fuels. As you said, Donald, on the goals, we stay firm. So Europe stays the course on its climate neutrality goal by 2050. Because we all know that the young people, the next generation, our children, would never forgive us if we did not act now. The transition is needed, but how we get there, the way forward, we have to be flexible, we have to be pragmatic. This transition has never happened before. So we are all together learning a lot, and we have to adapt all the time that we reach our goal with a strong economy, a strong industry, and with a competitive European Union. Asking the industry what they need to go forward, we work with specific sectors. I've just launched a strategic dialogue with the automotive industry, also to ask them, what can we do, how can we support you that you reach your goals that we have set together? And I will do the same pretty soon for the steel sector, because here too there are very specific challenges for the steel sector. It's under great pressure, for example, from the energy costs, but also the topic of Chinese overcapacity flooding the European market. So we will start a strategic dialogue with the steel sector to really address in a focused manner what is it, what you need to reach our common goals. The third priority is making business simpler and faster. This month, we'll have a big simplification package. We call it the Omnibus. It's very important. This is the first of a whole series. We will have a whole fleet of omnibuses. And basically, the principle is cut red tape. We have to make business in Europe faster and easier. We will also propose a single market strategy to improve the functioning of our unique market for all industries. And we will launch a union of skills. We know that skilled labor is absolutely needed in the European Union, focusing on lifelong learning and skill retention. So the Polish presidency will play a key role in steering all these discussions, and I have not even named all of them. There's a lot to do, but I know it is in excellent hands. Finally, dear Donald, the Polish presidency also coincides with the first 6 months of the new US administration. Our transatlantic partnership is fundamental. It promotes peace, security, and prosperity. But we also recognize potential challenges. There are jobs, businesses, industries here and in the United States that rely on the transatlantic partnership. Just if you look at the whole trade volume between the European Union and the United States, it's 1.5 trillion euros. And we want to keep the transatlantic partnership strong, not only because of our historic ties, but because it is simply smart business. So we are engaging, we are promoting a pragmatic agenda, and at the same time, we will be ready, if necessary, to protect our own interests. As you can see, the work ahead is immense. This is why I'm so grateful to have you by my side and to be able to count on Poland's European spirit. Thank you so much.
Bardzo dziękuję. Mamy czas na kilka pytań. Bardzo proszę też redakcję o poinformowanie, do kogo pytanie jest skierowane. Bardzo proszę TVN24.